Welcome back to Whaling. As you can see on the screen, there is a large number with which I am going to whale. 460 pulls. Are they all being deployed in this video? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. That's how we keep engagement, motherfuckers. However, it's not just a clickbait tease or something, to be clear, but Nick is also going to be dropping a pretty considerable amount of pulls here, potentially. So we're going to start with him and then get back to the main event, and I'll walk you through what I've been saving for 4 months and how I got fucked by this banner. Nick is on the screen, though, with his Firefly, and he's not even 100% sure what he's doing with this either, because this new thing has both given us opportunities, but also maybe paralysis of choice. So Jason and Doug are also here, but Nick, talk us through what you're looking at for pulls on this banner or potentially the second half of this 2.5 set.
Oh, first things first, here I am in Penacony. Like, I couldn't think of any place that is more appropriate. Like, I drew for Ron May in her little place on Herda's vessel. So what I got here, I've got 223 pulls, and I think last time I checked, I discovered I had 45 pity. Don't even remember how I got it. So I got Feixiao. She's awfully tempting. I mean, like let me go into this real quick. So I got a lot of things. Like, last thing you guys saw me at, I basically finished out this team at the top here. And it's been wonderful. It hits hard, things get broken and they stay broken, and it's wonderful, and they take hella damage while that happens. Other than that, I've got a whole bunch of 4 stars and Japard. And
you have Yang, you have Yang
who is
Shane.
also a 4-star, but just got a considerable glow up in this patch, so we won't make fun of him.
It's true.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful ride for this patch. I honestly like one of the things that I'm looking into was like pure fiction, and anything with that requires a second team, and it's just really hard for me to with the tools that I got at my disposal. I can't really find anything, but one character that kept coming up whenever I would look it up was Herda, and she's apparently quite solid for follow-up attack teams.
Kind of. The problem with that is her best partner is Jade, and we don't know when she's going to be back.
Yeah, that's tough.
I actually enjoy their pairing quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't like the character.
No, but I think we're sort of supposed to hate the IPC characters at this point. They're all sort of smarmy and douchey, but it's kind of by design. And we've seen that they all have something else going on under the surface. We just haven't gotten much with Jade yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we also have March 7th, who it can find its way in a lot of follow-up attack teams. And as it turns out, for this particular banner that we're going to be pulling at, I'm like, there's a lot of good things for follow-up attack that we can get here. We've got Robin, we've got Feixiao. I kind of want to see if I can get both. I think I'll probably start with Robin. I think the idea of a follow-up attack team really intrigues me. And Chris, with his first 5-star from this banner down here, he picked Himiko. That's a follow-up attacker.
Yeah.
So I want to be cool like the cool guys. I want to hit with follow-up attacks.
You know, I actually have to say, now that you're pointing that out, how close are you to getting your pull on the 300? Halfway? More? Okay.
Oh, wrong button.
Yeah, roughly
Himiko
halfway.
and Herda is also viable and would work with Robin.
Specifically if you want to be clearing lots of multi-weave content, those two in particular are kind of a match made in heaven for clearing all that.
So I think this has solidified the case for Robin first. Obviously, you're hoping to win both and get both, and that would be great. We're rooting for that. But whether it's circling back to Topaz, who's in the second half of this banner, which we talked about before we went live, or hanging around for Himiko, I think you've got more viability for pairing Robin with whatever configuration of follow-up you end up going with.
Yeah. Okay.
So can you double check the pity so we get an exact number?
Since it won't tell us, lazy ZZ.
When we get to mine, it'll be easy. It's 0. I have 0 pity. Have not touched the banner since I pulled my Robin, and that was on May 8th. We got 30, 35, 40, 45, 45.
45.
Okay.
45.
Yep.
which is what you thought. But we're just double checking because again,
Yes.
I keep track of these things so we can see how lucky or unlucky we've been. And you do have one more pull in crystals, and you'll probably get more from whatever you get on this. Although you have fewer 4-stars than I do, but. So yeah, I mean, you're looking at least 3 and maybe more depending on timing and if you hit. So there's a decent chance you could get both, but I guess we'll start and we'll have to see how lucky you get.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get at it.
So we're 10 pulling from 45 to 55. And we'd like to see one. I mean, it would be obviously nice. The earlier the better, but like this next set would be a really good start.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So how good is Luca?
He's fine. He's like a lot of 4-stars. Like he's viable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's 65.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're looking for it
65.
here before soft pity. That would be a nice bonus, but
No such luck.
Alas.
Unfortunately.
yes.
Got
Now,
Well, I
a
mean,
couple of light cones. Interesting.
so yeah, in that light cone, the pearl sweats on whatever
Okay.
is actually really
Oh.
good on like Pela. There's a couple of scenarios where it's actually an incredibly good light cone to have to use on certain units, usually with like an Acheron or something. It's not really relevant to you, but it's something to keep in mind that sometimes these like kind of joke light cones actually have some like kind of really interesting uses and can make characters viable in teams outside of what you might expect.
now we know
Yeah.
what Doug's answer is going to be to this question, but
Mhm.
is it single pull time? Do you care about any of these
No.
4-stars?
It's the same 4
Uh,
stars on either one, right?
As far as I know, yeah. Yeah.
Looks like it, at least.
So, like, if your
Um,
plan is to to roll up onto the Feixiao banner, if this goes well, then maybe you don't care. But if you're thinking of maybe holding off until Topaz later, maybe you do care.
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
I respect it.
Okay.
Okay.
What
Well,
do we got?
are you guaranteed or no? Who'd you get last?
Rame from the Rame banner.
Okay.
so
Okay. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
you won, right?
Yep.
Yes, I've won. I've hit 2 50/50s and I've won both of them.
Okay. Okay. So we'll see.
Which has enabled you to go for this. All right.
Say harmony.
Hey!
Got it.
Welcome to my.
Whoa.
Now I think
All right,
I think
so
this
I
makes
got
the
it.
play obvious. First of all, you're guaranteed Feixiao if you continue down the path. But there's still no harm in maybe looking at Himiko because you may want the 2 different variations of a follow-up team for different types of content.
correct.
So this may have made your path
Right, so
very
do I-
clear. Welcome to Nick's world, and now I guess you just start a pull-in. That was what on 3, so you've got 7 pity.
Yes.
But yeah, you're the real question is do you get the 50-50? I gotta say, what the heck does Woza, or what the hell his name is, do? I haven't looked into
Woza.
him at all. I don't know what his kit is. I don't know what teams he belongs in. I assume follow-up attack. They would put him with the general, right? Am I crazy or no?
I mean, you're always crazy, but
Okay, fair.
you're like, wait a minute, that's not nice.
I'm gonna have a maxed Luca.
As far as I remember,
Another
he's
light
just
color.
like damage. I don't think he's follow-up.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think he's a single target guy, and he hits pretty hard, kind of akin to Luca. But I don't know a ton about him either. I had no interest in him because it doesn't really fit anything I'm doing. But so Nick is 3 for
I
3
don't
on
even remember doing
50-50s,
it.
and I hesitate to mention that because you don't want to jinx anything. But I don't believe in jinxes, so because we already said
I
he'd
mean,
won
you're
the
gonna win
first
some.
2, and it didn't jinx. So don't miss me with
Yeah.
that nonsense.
You're gonna win some. You're gonna lose some. You know, I'm due to lose one on my ZZZ polls. You know, it's gonna happen at some point.
I may have lost count, but I
That's
think that
40.
was 47.
So yeah, 47 total.
I've done 40 and there was 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, still not maxed out yet.
He's got to be close.
But you're working on it.
Okay,
Another light cone.
Yeah, I think that one's okay. So I have to remember what they look like based off of just the picture.
This is going to 77. We're touching soft pity.
Oh.
Okay, okay, that's. Here we go. This is where we see. What do we got?
I believe.
Come on,
We're
4 for 4.
We're hoping for a hunt. We're hoping for the hunt symbol here. I think it's like a bow.
The deer
Looks like a
antlers.
deer antler.
Oh,
kinda,
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that's the 6th for her
That's-
for
that
me.
means
So
more times
I've
to
got her
twirl.
maxed.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
it's a
well,
Himiko. So that
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 is-
is
failed successfully.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good outcome because now you can pull somebody else with your choice. Maybe a
Yep.
Bronya or something.
How about that? Okay, I mean, so I could keep at it.
absolutely no. You're guaranteed to get her still. You've got 90 other pulls sitting around here. You can
113,
forward, you might even get
114
lucky,
pulls
yeah.
plus 2 pity, so it's guaranteed.
no, absolutely.
Gives you a new toy
And
to
you
play
can-
with
you
and a
can-
strong anchor for your second team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a lot of building to do, and I have like no resources.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the thing.
that's- Yeah. That's the where I'm at with ZZZ right now. I get these characters and I'm like, I can't keep up with them all. Oh, that's the new.
That must be that must be a new light cone because it's,
I don't have
it's their
that
new
one.
outfit.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be careful with it. You're right, but there are a couple examples of like Aventurines in a light cone from like a year ago in the background,
Oh,
so you
that's
never
the
know
bad.
for sure.
True. Well, also, I'm pretty sure that said that was not a Hunt Light Cone. That was a, not Erudition. I think it was Harmony. So I'm not too sure what it's actually for. I'm not too sure who that light cone is for. It just has
It's
March
just,
on
yeah,
it.
light cones are a confusing bunch.
Well, she's Harmony, isn't she?
No.
That March 7th is Harmony.
No, she's Hunt, isn't she?
I think she's Harmony. I don't remember.
Oh no, okay, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I was that was thinking of a different thing.
Yeah, Harmony Trailblazer.
Yeah,
Trailblazer's Harmony.
Yes, and uses imaginary. That's the overlap that was in my head.
Yes.
that's where. Yeah,
Yeah,
Well-
because she learns on the Lao Fu, and they're all about the hunt and whatnot. So
Yes.
and they're just giving you
Max
free pulls
Luca,
now.
Max.
yeah, these are
Yeah.
all just free pulls. So it's like a discount, you know.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, this is it
Here we go.
then. I don't know how lucky I was.
I didn't see. We'll see what the end number is, and I can tell you. But I don't think you got anything super early.
All right.
Well, I know you didn't get anything super early. I think they were all in the 70s. But given the outcomes, it's pretty much fine.
I think it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Another Mose, that's 3. There she is. I'm gonna have to change out my entire team in order to show all the new toys that I got.
There she is. So that was
All right.
actually in the 80s. That was 86. I think it was 4th in the poll, 2 pity, and 80 pulls. But she's here, and you still have some left over. And you got one of the
Mhm.
characters you wanted alongside her. So, well, not specifically. You know what I mean. Like, you're losing the 50-50. You got something you wanted. So,
Okay, only 3 characters apparently.
it's fine.
Oh, I didn't activate the team
It
though.
would have been better if you left it on the screen anyways. You can see them all at once. Look, there they are.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, my new toys and a couple of 4 stars.
Yeah, but one of those toys is technically the 4th thing you're looking at for this, because now you compare her with Himiko. So, not that bad, all
So
things
I have-
considered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so. And I think you throw. Who do you think you throw in this team here? March 7th?
Well, that's the question of really like who's going to heal for this team, or is it going to be
Yeah.
too hard to shield your way through stuff since he is relatively built? Because yeah, I don't think Himiko actually goes on this team. She could. She's not bad, even if you're trying to go more single target follow up. I've used that before with Topaz against Fire Weak stuff. Like, it's a possibility, but I think Feixiao, March, Robin, X is going to make more sense than Himiko.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and so the nice thing is with your Feixiao here,
Do a tornado.
similar to similar to Firefly and Acheron, this technique here is going to be the big game changer when you're doing simulated universe and stuff.
This is also going to be quite fun, and I'll show it off in mine. But first of all, you just get to run faster. This is like Yelan, but you also get to do other stuff.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir. Sir.
He's taking a picture.
It would be fun if you could pick up NPCs too. It doesn't make any sense, and you should not be able to do it, but I would like it.
There's no
I
way
need to
they
find
let you
something to pick up here. Well, let me pick this up.
Yes, it'll pop.
It'll
down.
pop.
Yes,
it.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't actually pick it
You'll
up.
have to get out of
Like,
it.
Yeah, Yeah, only enemies. You're only able to pick up
Yeah, you'd have to
enemies.
get out of a safe zone. But don't worry, I'll show it off because I am pulling for Feixiao. That's the one guarantee here.
All right.
All right, I'm going to turn off Discord. You're going back to my screen, viewers. I need to give them access to my screen so they can watch along. So hold on one moment. I might as well stop watching his. There's no reason to be eating those resources. There we go. All right, y'all should be able to see my screen now. The viewers can already see my screen. 460 pulls. The last time I pulled, as I mentioned, was for Robin back in May. And I've been sort of sitting around thinking about pulling on some stuff. Like Firefly would have been cool, and considering the Firefly's been the meta ever since she came out, I sometimes regret not having her in like pure fiction. But I've been patient, and I was hoping, as I mentioned a couple times ago in a video, that like what was going to be next? Maybe Kafka, get her C1, like really work on my dot team, and they're here. They're all here. Everyone is here.
Chris, I think we can see some of your OBS stuff. Yeah, like
We can on our end.
He's sharing OBS, not
Yeah, which is normal.
Oh, with us? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
Alright.
Just want to make sure that wasn't in the YouTube video.
Yeah, so you got screwed because every single possible option that you could have been slowly working towards are all
here.
at once.
Now, I think it's a good
Yes.
thing, and Genshin should probably do this as well, to start including more than one character in some of these banners. So I don't want to just make it about me and be bitter, even though I am a little bit, because this is probably better to avoid having like a year-long wait between rerun on certain characters. And,
Absolutely.
like
yeah.
Shenhe, for example, is stuck in hell, just like Eula was before her, and could help,
Yep.
could be served by this system alleviating that. So here's what I started to do. I started to think about it, and for weeks now, because I knew this was coming, I started to think, what is best for my account? What am I having the most fun playing? What the hell am I going to do with any of this? And I made a flowchart. It's not really a flowchart, but I made a flowchart. So number one, we're pulling for Feixiao.
Okay.
I mentioned that last
Okay.
time. Obviously, it's guaranteed. I have 2 guarantees no matter what the fuck happens here. And then some, because I'm going to get plenty of extra stuff from pulling as well. But Feixiao is just going to be an upgrade over Dr. Ratio. Ratio's been fine in my follow-up team. I would even say good. Very single target focused. She is too. The difference is her power level and her pairing with Topaz is much better. Topaz does not really apply debuffs, so it's tough to get Ratio to 100% in that team without the help of somebody else. And, well, let's be honest, Healer X and Robin are not really doing that either. So a lot of times he's at 80%. Sometimes he just misses his chalk, or his chance to throw it, because he's not proccing because I don't have enough debuffs in that setup. That won't be a problem here. Numby's just going to go crazy, and then Feixiao is going to go crazy, and everyone's going to fucking die. So that's happening. We are going to get her. We'll see how quickly and how lucky I am. Step 2 is C1 Robin.
Okay.
C1 Robin, I guess I can go show it because I have her.
See, I don't know C1 Robin.
C1 Robin's going to be important for a couple of reasons, but really just, I guess, the one in theory, just because it's the one thing she's going to do. But C1 Robin says, you know what I think would be nice? What if everybody just took 24% more damage?
I see.
What if everybody just did that? Because Concerto is pretty much consistently active on loop. In fact, one of the best ways to keep it going is by having her ult when she's in it, and then she's stuck in that phase and not expending points. So you can extend that for pretty much damn near as long as you want to. So effectively, she's just going to be doing that much more, or our team is going to be doing that much more damage because of her. Because the problem I've run into is, as we look at the next steps here, let's say I do well on those two. Maybe I get them in, win one 50-50, lose another, and I still have another like 150 to 200 left. I'm going all in on follow-up.
Okay.
That's going to be my main team. And the dot team survives and does well in certain matchups, especially if there's certain elemental weaknesses. There's plenty of situations where even just bare bones with, Black Swan and Kafka in particular, they get by just fine. Now, at some point, the game's going to have to stop putting out Super Break and now stop putting out Follow-Up Attack and maybe look at giving, I don't know, a healer specific to dots. That would be cool. And you're like, what about Huo? And I'm like, she just gives ultimates. She doesn't has nothing to do with dots. So
I agree.
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, that's why I haven't pulled her for that exact reason. Yeah.
And you don't really have a great support either. Like, Ron May is good in any team. She's not bad with dot. But Robin doesn't really help it either because you don't need her extra damage. Sparkle doesn't make much sense because what's crit damage going to fucking do on a dot team? So at the moment, even if I were to invest in Kafka or Black Swan, but it would be Kafka first, I'm not sure it really raises my floor all that much right now. So Topaz is on the next banner. So if I do well enough on the first two, it's just going to cut off and I'm not going to spend 460 pulls. Obviously, we're hoping that's the case. There is one elephant in the room, and it's not going to happen. But
yeah, okay.
Rap is super cool, and as I said in our Discord chat, like, that's my aesthetic. I fucking love that character. It makes no sense for me. I guess if I'm looking for, like, a Firefly replacement or any kind of Super Break representation, that could be a path I go down. But how the hell am I going to have any pulls left for that? And by the way, not pictured on this is Lingshaw, who is a follow-up attacker and healer, but I just don't see a world where that's going to happen.
And Super Breaker, yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't really seem like that's going to ever be the case. It really is just going to cut off probably at Topaz. But that's what I've settled on. I'm going to be ignoring Dot. I'm going to be ignoring Lingshaw, and I probably have to ignore Rappa for now because I'm just going to go all in on making this team as strong as possible. I already have very good relics on most of the characters here. I've already farmed for Feixiao. She's ready to go to 9 or 80 or 90 or whatever the fuck the max level is and has a full set ready for her. And that's what we're going to do. How successful are we going to be? We'll see.
Hopefully more successful than me.
Hi, this is
Get off the phone, Topaz. It's very rude. So we start here, 0 pity, and we're just going to start 10 pulling. Hope we're winning 50-50. Our luck's been pretty good in this game overall. Let's see.
And I think you've touched on an important... There you go. There's your luck.
Look, I deserve this.
This is the Mualani moment right here, okay?
I deserve this. I spent 2 years getting fucked by Genshin.
Watch it be Japard or Young Ching.
I don't care. It's 10.
Yeah, I mean, at this
10
point, it's so early.
star.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
It
but
does
that
not matter because now I'm guaranteed to have a shot at Topaz if that's what I want to do.
That's true. That's true.
God forbid I actually do so well on this. I could actually go after Rappa, but let's not go crazy. It's early.
So look at Feixiao's in the background of his image. It's so weird that if he doesn't work with her,
they're chilling.
But it's Hunt. Boom.
Hey.
I finally have one of these type of pulls. I don't have a sub 20 pull on this channel. This is my first time. It's sub 10. It's single digits, which is obviously phenomenal. So awesome.
Nice.
Well, I mean,
so 7.
That's gonna make. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe the flow chart was incorrect. Maybe I can have everything I ever dreamed of.
Maybe. Rappa's coming, baby.
I completely missed that. I think you need to do like 15 more 10 pulls here.
Okay, well,
sounds like a good thing.
Let's start going for Robin with 3 pity, and we'll see what happens.
But yeah, like I think you actually touched on something with like the dot teams where like I also found that my dot was kind of falling off in the content, and it wasn't until I basically merged the Acheron team I was trying to build with my old dot team that I was really starting to see a turnaround there, because Kafka is putting dots out every turn and her ultimates are dots. Black Swan is a dot every turn and more dots on her ults. So basically every single time any other party member would go, Acheron would get stacks, and then that turned into just more Acheron ults. Like there's an argument for like Ron, May, and a bunch of other people to make every ult of Acheron's better, but I just found it was so much easier to just mix both teams and get the benefits of the dots and the Acheron ults all in one. But otherwise, yeah, that team was kind of falling behind, and I think you are wise to go real heavy in your follow-up attack here, because you've got the full star lineup here basically to make this work.
And I also really enjoy follow-up attack in all the side stuff like the universes and like I really like going Elation Path in most of those quite a bit. Not that Nihility stuff, was also not good, but you know what the biggest problem with my account is, if I'm being honest, is not that the dot team isn't strong enough, because they are still really good, and again in certain setups each month they can carry. It's that the dot team is also my AoE team, and that's not good enough. But we'll work on that in the future. All right. Well, we're going deep on this one, but I obviously can't not complain one bit. So
yeah.
Let's see. I think that is now 73. Yeah, I didn't write down the number. I think it had to be 450 because it was only 10 pulls. So let me fix that real quick. So it was 460 and 0, and then it was 450 and 3. So now we're pulling from 73 to 83.
Yeah, you'll get it.
I mean,
Boom right
it
there.
worked for Nick. Doug is here. If it doesn't
Welcome
work, I'm going
to
to yell
my
at Doug.
world. Okay.
Well,
That's
it's too good. I'm just too good.
fair. You don't know that. Yang Qing's about to knock at the door.
After the story, I wouldn't be that sad. I would never use him, but I'd be like, oh, hey, cool.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Look at this guy.
So that's a harmony.
There we go.
God, this is going to be such a liar of a thumbnail.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of whaling going on in this, is there?
I was prepared for there to be.
Was that 90 polls? Was that 90 polls?
Yep.
Oh, you didn't max Luca yet either.
Yeah, I don't really like him. He was good in this event, except for the part where he was weirdly mistranslated like everybody else was in one segment of the new event.
Yep.
Somebody missed some quality control there. I have to think now for a moment.
Well, 360 is enough for 2 more guarantees.
That's correct.
So you're getting your Topaz and you're getting your Rappa if you just literally do nothing.
If I want to
Like
Rappa,
you said.
that's now guaranteed. Is it stupid to try and pivot to Kafka? I think it is. I suppose I could lose the 50-50 and then win it on Topaz.
There you go. Yeah, you see.
But if you okay, I was looking at Kafka earlier today. I don't know that her E1 is that amazing.
Well, the problem
I'm gonna be
is, I mean, I also, so just to be like full disclosure, I also, like, this is also a thing. And in this game, as we've talked about in the past, 75-25, so like there are potential glow-ups here for characters that would also be strong. The problem is Kafka's E or C0 or C1 is better than her weapon 1. So like, we can go look real quick. Kafka.
I'm of the opinion that Kafka's E1 I was not wowed by it. It was basically just, now I guess in a follow-up team it's better, but it only works on her follow-up attack. Then they get more dot damage.
Yeah, but for
and
2
it's only
turns.
30%.
So you're basically getting
Yeah,
30% more damage. It's good. And it's better than her weapon from what I've seen people who like crunch all the numbers because I don't know how all that works. So like it is certainly not bad. Because like you can basically guarantee her doing her follow-up attack every turn.
Well, this is true. I guess the real question is 30% more dot damage going to be enough for you to clear content with her now that you aren't already?
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely going to shore that up. My goal is to start to have like an answer for pretty much any situation. Like I'm not going to obviously have all of them because I'm not actually whaling. I'm free to play, but the goal is essentially like, all right, so I can use this team, and if this month they're really leaning towards these elements, and then maybe I pull them in. I mean, I think I'm going to not pull on Kafka, and I'm just going to hold these pulls because ultimately, I said it before, my AoE teams suck. Like, she's good, but not good enough on her own. Could I pair her with someone else like Time to Twirl? Sure, they'd be decent. She primarily hits 3, if not 1. He primarily hits 3, if not 1, but his ult hits 5. So, like, none of my like, those two work well together, but they can't quite clear groups quick enough. So I think I need to not get greedy. You know, I've been saving for this long. I just got 2 new toys. I don't think I can complain about, like, well, what about this now? Because if it means I can go after Rappa or somebody else that I would like, then I need to do that.
And because you don't have Firefly, which I think is like the biggest person competing with Rappa.
Yeah.
I think once you nab Rappa, you might be in a situation where then you can basically build or start looking to build out effectively your Super Break team. You know, get imaginary, you know, your Harmony Trailblazer and like maybe Gallagher or somebody else, and then I mean Rame goes and everything, but you know what I mean? Like that could be your cornerstone for a Super Break team, although she doesn't have the weakness insert herself the way that Firefly does. Or doesn't have Super Break. One or the other one. I don't know. Her kit's been floating around and none of it's official, but she's supposedly going to be a lot better at AoE. So it's almost like a Super Break Herda or something like that. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see what she brings, and then you might be able to build another team around her, assuming she actually brings that kind of power with her.
Which is possible.
Sometimes these extra characters are like fine and good, but not all of them are build a team around. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have the flexibility to deploy it however I want to. So I know I feel bad because our goal is not to be clickbaity. But again, I intended to pull up to 360 times on this, if not more, and didn't have to. Which, hey, I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I know this is not the most exciting, but I've been building for weeks, by God, so I'm doing it on here. Fuck it.
Yeah, well, and then so you're gonna have Topaz coming up here at some point, and then I will have Lingsha. I think is what because it's similar to you wanting to finally like just double down on follow-up attack. I'm going to basically
keep running forward.
Make sure that I've got what I need for my Firefly team, and as tempting as C2 Firefly is, I don't know.
Reaching the finish
It's amazing and it's great, but really only when you're trying to kill lots of small mobs, because then you can break them all in one turn and you get the extra attack and yada yada yada. If I bump into a boss and I can't break them, then it doesn't do anything for me. It's a net zero. Whereas I was trying Lingsha today, and I think she will arguably do more for my Firefly team than my Gallagher is. Because I have E1 Firefly, who isn't skill point intensive. Because that's the big downside with Lingsha, is she wants to use skill a lot, which you don't want to do if your Firefly is burning through skill points. So I'm looking at pulling for Lingsha here soon, because I got Himiko last time. It should be a guarantee for me whenever she pops up in 2 patches or the next patch or whatever. So we'll be back for that at least.
That'd be exciting, yeah. I'm gonna get all the stat ones and worry about the rest of these later. I just want to see what her stats end up at. I'm a little bit too crit damage high and crit rate low. I could switch to crit rate instead of crit damage on one piece, because I rolled a lot of crit damages, which is good, but it means I may have to pivot on a couple of pieces of equipment. If you saw as I was flipping through, I have a couple in a few different slots that I have set aside. So I'm not hurting for options. I just need to see what the best ratio is going to be on that CR, but we'll figure that out. I just want to see kind of where she's at when I'm done here. There's some crit rate. We love that.
And get a demo. Got to get the demo in.
Yeah, I will do a demo. Yeah, see, 35% is not cutting it, but I have crit rate boots as well, or whatever that piece is.
Yeah.
So that might get us closer to that golden ratio of 2 to 1. I think it'd be like 65 and then like 120-ish. So that's about 2 to 1.
Something they say it's about 2 to 1 if you do that. Yeah.
So I may look at doing that off the air, but and then real quick, just to show. Oh, she's still down there in the level 1s because it doesn't realize I've updated her. What we're looking at with Topaz is essentially like the same idea. It's basically 25% more damage because, I mean, she's got a obscenely high crit rate.
Correct. Yeah.
So, and it's further boosted by some other stuff going on there. So, like, that's the goal there, is really just to unlock everything we can for follow-up. And then just go crazy. And I think this team's going to go pretty crazy.
That's good.
Real quick, we'll just do the trial that comes with it. I don't need to pull mine out. I'm not like, oh, I got to show mine out. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, it won't have Topaz, but it's fine. So,
Tornado time.
Tornado time. Yeah, the more enemies are dragged, the more damage it will deal. And the game's like, you want to see it drag some enemies? And we're like, yeah.
They're just flying there.
And now
you swing.
They just sit there for a while. And you can go through a whole map if you can run through enough things to give more technique points. Technically, you need one other ability with that to keep them anchored to her. But, yeah, so they just played the video game for me, which is great.
Yeah, they take damage when they enter the battle, and they make sure that the enemies instantly die in this part. And it's funny because they do this on purpose. You'll notice both of the enemy weak mob waves, again, they will instantly die. Or I guess all of them. They're going to kill all of them. And then they're going to be like, here you go.
Yeah, which I thought was funny.
This is how the bot... Yeah, they're like, okay, now we'll teach you how to play the characters. And she didn't need to before now.
So the two big things here, her ultimate ignores weakness type and reduces toughness. So kind of like Firefly and some other Acheron also in some cases. Like,
Acheron,
but primarily Firefly. She just gets to be like, oh, you don't have a wind weakness? Well, you're going to fucking break anyways. And then it's based on follow-up attacks. So this is where Topaz really shines because she can basically get her more stacks of Flying Aureus, and then she goes off, and then that triggers Numby, and then Numby goes off, and then it's just endless loop. In this case, we have March here, which is also fine, but, you know, we can just be like, oh, look at that toughness bar. That's cool.
I venture forth.
What if I just took out 2/3 of it right now?
Yeah. Now, in theory, it's not even technically just follow-up attacks. It's just number of attacks. So if they ever release a character that, I don't know, did like no damage, but like inserted themselves at like 300 billion speed and just did lots of tiny attacks, all of those would technically keep stacking for her.
Like there it was.
So there's a little bit. Yeah.
She just went off. And then March is like, oh, I should technically do this, but I don't fucking care. It's almost over anyways.
So,
In the mood
yeah,
for
so
another beating?
if you attack somebody,
Fangs and claws
she'll
got
a lot of times follow up with her, and then her skill also includes its own. So her skill, similar to Acheron, where Acheron basically gives herself 2 stacks, Feixiao will give herself 2 stacks because she does an attack, and then she also does her own follow-up attack. And then there, she did a follow-up attack with somebody else, puts it on there. And you can not spend her ults when you get it, and you can basically build up 2 whole ults.
Yep.
So then you can spend both of them if you've got like say a certain buff window, or say it's a boss fight and they're like immune to damage or something really weird, you can technically save up 2 ults and pop them both at the same time, which is kind of fun.
See, now that thing, I noticed that when you have broken the toughness, the single target, the other one, lights up. Does it do more damage when the toughness is down?
Yeah. It's not a huge difference, so if you're just mashing, I don't think you're going to be like terribly hurt by it, but one does more toughness reduction and one does a little bit more
like
damage.
The present.
All right.
So now we see them going crazy.
Yeah. Azure Dragon, White Tiger, less carbs.
Yeah. And there you have it. 2 successful 50-50s. I think I've won like 10 of 12 in this game or something. It's gone really well considering I've lost like 15 of 17 in Genshin. All things are becoming even in the universe. I'm 1 for 1 in ZZZ, so that's good. But that does mean it's the end of the video. I'm going to make her stop talking on the phone. But
You know what? Good polls. Good polls.
we're on a bit of a hot streak on the channel in general. I know Nick did not win the last one on Genshin, so I hesitate to say we're all winning, but like he did just win this one. And overall, we've had pretty good success on our 50-50s lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, knock on wood, but yeah, that's we've been on a hot streak, which does mean at some point we'll be doomed again. So
well,
that's,
sure.
That's always fun. Yeah.
Either that or Chris and I are just going to take all the doom in Genshin, right?
In fact, why don't you get started on the Doom right now, Chris?
Well, look, maybe it's this. Maybe it's not haha anymore.
That's true.
I guess we'll see.
That's
I did not
true.
have high expectations. I didn't think I was going to lose both 50-50s, but I was basically expecting them to be exactly that. Like win 1, lose 1, come out of it with like 150, 160 pulls, so I'll wait for Topaz, and that'll be the end of the video. Well, I guess we'll see. Because if I win that Topaz 50-50, that opens up some other possibilities too, including maybe even
tons.
Lingshaw?
Ooh, that could be fun.
we'll see.
That's what I'm gonna go for. Yeah.
So the next time we pull, it's probably Jason and me, and maybe me with a bunch, and maybe we'll see. At least in this game, we'll have some Triple Z coming up, some more Genshin down the road. So like, if you're enjoying all of those videos on our channel, thank you for watching. Otherwise, we'll be back to this game and others soon. But first, final thoughts from all of you who stick around this long.
Mualani is fun if you get her. She surfs around, but
Yeah.
Vape is a pain in the ass, I will say. That's the only problem. It's like impossible to build a team for her that isn't just Zhonling or like clunky. She's very clunky, although fun. She's the best taxi and like, okay in combat so far. So those are my thoughts on our recent polls. I felt bad, so I've been building up my Mualani, and despite having her fully leveled with a full weapon, it's still a bit of a struggle to just find a rotation or a team that really feels like it pays off for her. And I know a lot of other content creators said the same. They're not lying. It can be tricky to get those vapes to hit because she only has so many attacks and you want them to do big numbers. So if they don't vape or whatever, you're just sort of whatever. And every now and then a guy will just like decide he's gonna do a dance or juke someplace, and you just fly into a wall and you hit nothing. So sometimes
Yeah.
you're like, come on, Mualani.
Yeah, every now and then her ult just shoots off into space, and you're like, as a Dia fan, I understand this situation.
Yeah, super.
Or maybe Dia was a blessing in surprise then for me.
I don't think
I've been
no,
using my Dea with her, honestly, just because I almost prefer her than Zhongling, and I know everyone's dying at home because obviously Zhongling's better, but like I know she's better. She's too good. It's like why I don't like using her. But like even I might have to bite the bullet and level her up just to get Mualani into a spot that like feels good to play.
Yes.
Which kind of sucks. But like I guess it is what it is. But I've also been just using Dea sometimes and trying to like maybe put like Nahida in there and get burning to work so I can get that, and that's been fun. But then I want to get my Farina in there, and that doesn't work. So I just keep having to swap Farina into healer mode because that's about the only way she can not steal all of the vapes. So that's so Farina just runs around putting the little angel thing on the ground, and then that's about it. So I don't know. I think I almost need a different character to give a damage buff in that team, and I don't know who I want it to be yet. But point is, Mualani has been the most fun to run around the map with so far, but in combat it's been pretty clunky as hell. But that's the follow-up from last video.
And
I felt bad for getting her, so I'm leveling her up. I'm going through the process. Hopefully I can show her off it someday.
and believe it or not, it's even more clunky on mobile.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Doug, what are you pulling for next? In anything?
The joke was and I had all the materials built up for this was I was gonna pull from 0 to C6 Shenhe.
Who?
I'm gonna be waiting a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, unfortunately.
But stay tuned, everybody, because we're getting up there.
Mhm.
So
It's been a while.
Uh-huh.
When he does it, it's going to be a mega pull, and maybe it'll actually deliver on the number in the thumbnail. Who knows?
Yeah.
Nick, how you feeling coming out of this?
I mean, this was like I honestly feel like this was more fun of pulling than when I won on Firefly and Rome back to back. Like this time, I got both the things that I was kind of going for, and I got a bonus. Like I said before, tasks failed successfully.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Like I'm like riding high on this compared to when we did Genshin.
Yeah.
Like, the Genshin one was a bit of a letdown.
And there's how the 50-50 goes, right? You win it,
Yep.
you're like, I'm going to play this game forever. You lose it, you're like, I'm going to uninstall. And, well,
Yep.
got to find
Rage
the middle
quit.
ground somewhere in between. And for me, I pulled a Feixiao on 7, so fuck it, let's go. That's the
Yep,
end of Wailing.
you
If you
know.
like these videos, consider subscribing or liking. I don't really show much, but hey, you made it this far, so why not? And seeing as I haven't really depleted my whale status, I'm going to be putting it to use in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
long.
Everybody.
Later.